All right, let's stay with the story. Our senior political reporter, Samkele Maseko, has been tracking developments on the story for us throughout the course of the day and joins us live now. Samkele, what do we know about how far the meeting is now? I remember Pule telling you and other journalists that were gathered in the room that we were to potentially get a briefing by lunchtime or this afternoon.
Well, Bongiwe, what we do know at this point in time is that we are being called inside to go inside the NEC meeting of the ANC, but they are about to finish with their meeting. They are seemingly reaching consensus. And that the debate last we checked was that they can't outrightly ignore the contents of the report of the Section 89 independent panel. In fact, former ANC President Thabo Mbeki is seemingly about to leave the NEC meeting now. His convoy is getting ready for his departure from the meeting as we anticipate that the national chairperson of the ANC, Gwede Mantashe, is about to wrap the meeting of the National Executive Committee. They were on a 20-minute break just now to finalize the closure and the summary by the national chairperson, Gwede Mantashe. But on relation to President Ramaphosa, it seems as if the NEC has decided that he is staying put, he's not going anywhere, and that the party would vote against the high panel Section 89 report come the sitting of the National Assembly tomorrow afternoon. The ANC is anticipated to have a caucus meeting later on this evening to deliberate on these matters. In fact, this looks as if it is the convoy of the Deputy President of the ANC, David Mabuza, who is about to leave this meeting. This is his convoy that arrived earlier on, ferrying the Deputy President of the African National Congress and the Deputy President of the country. They will and are about to depart, which the lining up of the vehicles essentially shows that the meeting is about to be wrapped up. They have reached a consensus. There was an issue earlier on whether the party should outrightly reject the high panel independent Section 89 report or not, and there was a debate by some saying that it should be noted rather than being outrightly rejected by the governing party. Bongiwe.
And Samkele, has the Deputy President had anything to say? I mean, a lot of people have been wondering where he is, and when he showed up today, there was quite a lot of interest, and he was also, much talked about in the press conference by EFF leader Julius Malema. Has he said anything?
Deputy President David Mabuza of the country and of the ANC has not said much. In fact, he has been very quiet. He's been in the NEC meeting of the party. He's not spoken out in public or said anything. He's just been the usual David Mabuza South Africans have come to know over the past few years since taking over as Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa. Very quiet, very coy, and not taking any interest on any matters. In fact, my colleague Mashudu will just show you the visuals now of former President Mbeki leaving the NEC meeting. As you can see with the visuals we are showing you now, he is leaving the meeting. He was inside the meeting, was very scathing against President Ramaphosa's non-show at the NEC meeting last week, Friday, and questioning where the president of the party was at. So it signals with former President Mbeki leaving now that the meeting has essentially wrapped up and the business of the day has been done, and it is now left to the ANC leadership led by the Treasurer General Paul Shipokosa Mashatile and the Deputy President David Mabuza, National Chairperson Gwede Mantashe, and the Chief Whip of the ANC in Parliament, Phemi Machodina, to later on brief the ANC caucus later this evening on what decision they have taken in regards to how the ANC will participate tomorrow come the sitting of the National Assembly. Even the Deputy President's vehicles are now lining up for the departure of Deputy President David Mabuza. We are going to try and walk across at some point. You'll have to excuse our shot would be a bit shaky as he is also about to leave the meeting, signaling its end, that they've reached a consensus, they've reached the decisions that they need to do. We did earlier on see the likes of Mondli Gungubele, who is the minister in the presidency, he was very jovial on the outcomes of the NEC meeting, saying that in essence they have managed to unite themselves as the ANC. It was not a very conflictious National Executive Committee meeting of the party. They were very jovial to one another, but they were discussing critical points that could have heavily fractured the organization and divided them and plunged them into a crisis. But one point that was seemingly coming out was that they cannot outrightly reject that report of Section 89 pertaining to President Cyril Ramaphosa's Phala Phala farm and those monies that were stolen at his farm. But Bongiwe, the meeting is done. We are now going to go inside and hear the outcomes from the Treasurer General and Acting SG Paul Mashatile, alongside the National Chairperson Gwede Mantashe and other ANC leaders. But the officials, David Mabuza, the Deputy President, is going to be leaving the meeting and will not be forming part of any press briefing that will take place post that. Just to show you the visuals of NEC members now leaving the meeting of the National Executive Committee of the ANC. You can see in a Kotongane there that the meeting is done. You can see Joe Maswanganye as well, showing in essence that the meeting is done, is finished. You can also see on the other side now Chupu Matabata. He's also just left the meeting of the National Executive Committee with the Provincial Secretary of Mpumalanga, Muzi Chirwa, signaling the end of this meeting, a very contentious issue that has the potential to divide the party, with many leaders of the ANC saying that the president should leave office. Others saying that if he were to leave office, it would plunge the ANC and the country into chaos.
All right, Samkele, we'll touch base with you. We have some breaking news around the president and that report this afternoon. We'll come back to you, of course, during the course of that particular meeting.